Buff Nation, what is going on? We got a victory to talk about now. You can tell, man, I was sweating a little bit there at the end. I almost had to bust out the Newports like Motor City Smitty was saying. But just like I said the last time we got our victory against the Arizona State Sun Devils, you do not take for granted any win in college football. And that's why we got plenty of time. We got almost 10 days to break down this whole thing, this whole performance as we get ready for Nebraska. But first and foremost, we need to celebrate a victory starting 1-0. And hats off to the best collection of 5'9" white guys I've ever seen in my entire life, the North Dakota State Bison. I mean, they the greatest white football team of all time. Russ, thank you for joining me. How are you doing today, man? How are you feeling?
My day started off great. Had my first high school soccer game today, and we tied our rivals for the first time in the history of the school. Although it might have been a little bit foretelling of what just happened, because we also had a 2-0 lead with 10 minutes left. So that can tell you how that went. That should have been a victory for my team, but I guess I had to get it, going, the blood pressure going early and keep it going. I'm losing my voice both from coaching and then screaming at the darn TV. We're good, but I want everybody who's going to be joining the chat to relax. Okay. Before we get going with this, relax. Take a couple steps back from the ledge. Okay. It's going to be okay. And to the person that just said they lost by 4 yards, no, they didn't. A Hail Mary that isn't caught in the end zone is you're fine with that. Okay. You're fine with that as defense. I don't get it. They didn't score.
Nah, man, there's a lot to be happy about. Of course, there's some things that I'm pulling my hair out that I want to see. My keys to victory were play like we're on steroids, run the ball, win a time of possession, and
none of that.
Discipline. But I will say, way less penalties than we saw on the average this past year, which was great. It was nice to see us when we chose to run the ball effectively on third down. Still, some of the game management stuff is still some of the stuff that we'll touch on later. But ultimately, I thought the offensive line played better. Again, guys, what you got to look at what we were working with last year. I think it's marginal. I think it's marginal improvement with what we've seen. We'll see how it develops throughout the year. But I'm getting sidetracked, Russ. You just want to go through the game, talk about who stood out to you, who made the plays, everything like that, and then we can break everything down.
For sure. Definitely. Probably my player of the game on defense is Levante Bentley.
Dude, let's go.
Did some unbelievable stuff in the run stop. Okay. He got a sack, a big time sack at a big opportune moment. That is, something that I really appreciated. He was getting his name called a ton, getting a ton of tackles. I don't know what he ended with tackle wise. I don't know if we have the stats for that yet. As far as how many tackles he ended with, I feel like he had to be one of the top tacklers. Shiloh also a ton of tackles. I've heard a lot of bad things about Shiloh in the game because they were just but I think he was playing what he was told to play, which was that deep home run ball up there when really we probably needed a safety in the box spying the quarterback. But when the quarterback broke out, Shiloh Sanders could have got beat on 4 or 5 plays that would have gone for touchdowns. And trust me, when I told you the NDSU preview against Montana State, those quarterback runs were going to the end zone every time. So Shiloh did stop those a few times where he was the last guy, open field tackle, made it well. But the penalties, I know you said we're better. We killed ourselves. That's why I want to say to people, this game is not as bad as it seemed. If you really look at it and see what we did wrong, see what we did incorrect, there is a lot of stuff that is easily fixable.
We won the penalty battle. Oh my God.
Hey, let's be honest. You have to agree with me. That first half, almost every play, one of our edges was being held when the quarterback scrambled out. Like it was, and then the Travis like hold that they had on the quarterback keep, where even the announcers, like after watching the replay, they're like, that wasn't a hold. Oh, wait, yes, that was a hold. And the rules analysis guys said it's a hold. They were getting away with a lot of that in the first half as well.
Yeah, man, it was a physical game, and yeah, I mean, you could talk about the refs and all that, but I think, you could argue that maybe there were some 50-50 calls on us as well. But man, I don't really care. The fact is that we worked through those things.
Yeah,
we overcame them, and in the second half, I really did feel like this was a tale of two halves, Russ. I mean, the first half was totally rough. We were getting killed in time of possession. The penalties were absolutely killer, extending drives. The offsides on Dan Hayes, and then the Shiloh Sanders, extracurricular hit. I feel like that he's called for like once every 2 games. It led to another scoring drive, but we really came out in the second half, and I thought we played well. We had an 8-minute drive in the second half. Can we get some more of that? Please.
Not only that, we allowed 6 points in the second half, everybody.
Yeah.
We allowed 6 points in the second half. We had a stretch where we had 3 straight stops. If you count the stop at the end of the half that led to a field goal, then a stop after we went 3 and out to start the half, and then we get the touchdown and we get another stop with a chance. Well, actually the interception screwed up that drive. Like that should have been a touchdown drive. Like this game could have been completely different. If a calf doesn't get in the way, this game is 100% different, and we're not talking like this. I guarantee it.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, again, credit to North Dakota State. Even with the coaching change, even with coordinator changes, I thought they played very well, looked very disciplined. Even dealing with the quarterback kind of shifts that they would have, they played well, and they knew their substitutions, all that stuff. They were not affected like being on the road with that at all. And again, I was expecting, or I think I predicted, what was it, like 15-point victory or something like that last night.
Yep. And I was at 18. 19. Like we didn't say it would be a blowout. Like it was going to be, I've seen people say 60. I was saying we were going to put up 50. Then again, those first 2 drives, I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be a shootout. We're going to put up 60 points, and so is NDSU.
Now, would I love to see us, of course, get the blowout win? That's always the best. But again, guys, when you're a CU Buffs fan, you learn not to, again, there's things we can break down. We'll get to all of that. We got a week plus to talk about game management. We'll talk about some of that stuff too. But the world is not ending. You cherish a victory no matter how it comes. And at the end of the day, our best players made the plays when they needed to for that to happen. Can we talk about Travis Hunter? My prediction for game MVP, I think he blew away my expectation.
What did we talk about? Like, what was the one thing we said on Wednesday, which was, you've got Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. You're winning. You're winning the game just on those 2 guys. You have the 2 best players in college football. I don't care what anybody says in the chat, no matter what you want to say about, whatever happened in the game and who the Buffs are. Can everybody admit that Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are the best 2 players in college football?
Oh my gosh. Just
that last catch by Travis. Like, I still don't know why the ref isn't throwing the flag before the ball even goes. He's literally tackling Travis, and somehow he's able to reach while falling and grab it. What?
Yeah. He showed why he's
not human.
Maybe even a top 5 pick is lenient, man. He looked like the best player in college football tonight.
That he's a number 1 pick. He plays like that all season. He's going to be in New York for the Heisman. and he is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. I don't care what anybody says. If you know anything about ball and you watch that game and you say if Travis does that every game, it's over. It's over for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He made the plays when we needed to. And let's talk about Jimmy Horn, shall we?
Oh,
everybody give a hug for Jimmy Horn. Like, let's go, man. Hugs out for Jimmy. It was great to see him come out and just explode, leading the team in receiving, 7 receptions, 198 yards. Of course, that big time touchdown for us in the first half, man. What were your impressions on him, Russ?
he was this close to a perfect game.
Yeah.
He had a chance to end this game in the second half, and he got too excited. He got too excited. He was walking into the end zone probably with his speed. He's literally had one guy to beat, which was the safety who was in the end zone. He would have walked in. Instead, we end up not being able to, that was a massive play that we kind of messed up there. If he gets that, though, I mean, he's very close to player of the game right there with Travis until obviously that last catch, because they were going toe-to-toe all night. Jimmy is definitely looking fantastic this year. I know that there were some people talking down on him in the offseason, saying that it was going to be Will Shepherd over Jimmy. Here's the thing. I mean, Jimmy's got the speed. That's what we play. And let's say, LeJohntay Wester looked good too in his moments, getting him the ball. So that is who we are, is we need those fast, quick, agile receivers. So any of those out there who want to commit to Colorado, you're seeing what you can do with Jimmy Horn, LeJohntay, and Travis.
Yeah, man. It was great to I was so happy for Jimmy, man. It's clear that I think this offseason made a big difference for him. And I'm just happy for him, man. Aside from that one drop, which, we'll get to, man, he was, like you said, near a perfect game. I think, of course, we can talk about Shedeur as well. Let's talk about him. 26 of 34, 445 yards, insane. 4 touchdowns, and just also an insane interception. Like, I got to be honest, Russ, when I saw this interception, at this point in the game, when we were still trailing, I said, man, we got to sacrifice Ralphie 6. Like, I'm ready to do it. There's some omen that we need to get rid of, man. Maybe it's time that we discuss sacrificing Ralphie 6, because that interception was just, what are the odds of that happening, man? With it hitting the ankle, going straight up in the air. Well, red zone turnover for Shedeur, man, happening in crazy fashion.
I don't know what, the whole play was just so bad. I believe Travis was 1v1 on the other side, and Shedeur didn't even look at it. He throws it. I can't tell. It looked like the guy is falling, so he tackles our receiver, and then as he's tackling our receiver, he kicks the ball to his what? Here's the worst part about this, Dave, and I guarantee we'll see it. I will be tweeting it out. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, but Shedeur threw one interception," without knowing what happened or watching the game. That is not a Shedeur Sanders interception. You don't put that on him. He had a perfect game in essence. To have one go off a calf and pop up to an NDSU player is just absolutely insane.
But, and I thought he played fantastic ball in the second half. And again, I think the offense really started to get some momentum with that. Must have been about a 90-yard drive with that last minute to go in the first half to get that field goal, that little chip shot from Mata. Just dissection. And that's the stuff that NFL scouts, the 31 NFL scouts that are there tonight, they're talking about with him. I mean, he looked fantastic. I think that there was, maybe it's just first game stuff, getting some of the play calls off in time, but even though we got a lot to question with the 2-minute, I do want to give Coach Prime credit for at least calling those timeouts when the play clock was running down, when Shedeur wasn't getting those things off. These were plays last year that I felt like would result in delay of games. And even though, again, I almost busted out the Newports, I want to give him credit for that. But again, Shedeur looked fantastic. holding on to the ball a little bit. I think that's just something I've talked a lot about this with my friend QB Spotlight, who I actually saw in person today here in San Antonio. That he said sometimes, man, when you got those quarterbacks like that, Shedeur Sanders, Caleb Williams, you live with those plays when he's holding on to the ball, kind of running around making a play, because way more often than not, he's making a big time play downfield. Like, you just got to live with the negative plays that happen with that sort of style of play. But I think we can say again today, North Dakota State, those fans definitely are aware of the arm talent that Shedeur Sanders has now. Right, Russ?
They're going to have nightmares between Shedeur and Travis. They're going to have nightmares of what just happened. They're going to see, okay, that's what D1 ball is versus like FCS. We just saw what the best of FCS looks like. One of the top teams in FCS, ground and pound, really take it to us in that we focused on the run and they beat us on the pass. Like, that is what happened. I mean, look at Cam Miller. We talked about that. They usually throw for less than 20 times. He threw for 22 times for 277 yards and a touchdown. That is a Cam Miller franchise game. Like, that's probably one of his best career games, both running and throwing. And look who the leading rusher is. It's the quarterback, Dave. Like, was it one of the running backs? No. Like, at all. That's what we wanted to do. We stopped the run, everybody. The quarterback run is completely different, because that is about coverage. That is about holding the edges. That is not about just man on man, hat on hat, going as hard as we can at each other, and whoever wins gets to the running back first, which we did so well at. People are completely sleeping on that aspect of this game. And then going back to what you were just talking about with Shedeur, can we talk about the offensive line? Like,
let's talk about the offensive line.
Took one sack.
One sack? That's it?
I thought because it wasn't until like the end of the first half that he got a sack, and I don't remember in the second half him taking a sack.
I know. Yeah, maybe it was one sack. They don't have this updated yet on ESPN. I'm sure we'll have all the defensive stats put in here.
If somebody knows, let me know. I'm pretty. It's either one or two at most. But the point was, for the most part, I thought they kept him upright. He did well when he needed to scramble, but he wasn't like running for his life on every play. There were several plays, especially on the last touchdown drive, where he had 2-3 seconds. He sat back there. He dissected the defense, found the open man. Like, if he's going to get that time this year, we're unstoppable.
Yeah. Yes. Again, I think the broadcast asked a grade for the offensive line, C. And again, I just want to have average offensive line play. I don't want to have F.
That's better than the F last year.
And I wish, sorry guys, these ads. I thought most of the time they did give Shedeur adequate protection. And credit to Jordan Seaton, true freshman, starting in his first college football game. The fact that you didn't really stick out in a negative way is a huge positive, right? When you're not noticing anything like that egregious up front. I thought he played well. The offensive line, I thought that they added to this victory, and that was something that, again, we can talk about this later. I wish that they were given more of an opportunity to prove it in the run game. Didn't get that much of an opportunity, but outside of, again, the game management stuff, going for it on our own and on fourth down in a 3-point game in the first half, don't totally understand it. But outside of getting beat there, I thought that they, again, Charlie Offerdahl, let's give him credit. I thought that he looked good in some of these third down situations. I think Dallin Hayden had some big time third down receptions and first downs for us, breaking tackles. I thought that he looked great. I just wish that this staff had given these guys the chance to ice this game with 2 minutes left. If we're gonna win more games moving forward, we're gonna have to. I know it's so easy when you got somebody like Shedeur behind there. Hey, you just want to trust him. But if if we really are going to live up to expectations and have a significantly better year than what we had last year, which I think we're all expecting, we're not going to be able to win every game in this fashion. There's going to be games where we're going to have to win some of these moments in the trenches, and I look forward to seeing how they're going to perform then. I just wish they had a little bit more of an opportunity, because I feel like overall we were rushing for first downs on third and shorts for the most part, and I just wish they had a little bit more opportunity to prove themselves.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think the biggest mistake in the game, I was fine with what they did on Shedeur on the last drive until that random throw that he made, that literally, if you do the math and we run the ball there, NDSU takes a timeout, and then you can literally run the ball again, leave the clock running, and then on the punt, the time would expire. Yes. Like the time would have expired on the punt. So somebody messed up on that team by not saying, hey, just run the ball, kneel the ball, do whatever you have to do. Like there's no time left. They have one timeout. We need them to use it early. That was the biggest one that I was like, what are you doing? Because as soon as we got the pass interference, which absolutely was pass interference, yes. That kid is not at all looking at the ball and just literally tackling him. So the next play, run the ball, end the game. It is literally was everyone could see that mathematically. So that's the worst play offensively the whole game. The rest of it was fine. I was fine with it. And to people saying like we don't have a run game, I still felt like NDSU really targeted our run game and made sure that they were putting a lot of men and a lot of different things on the offensive line. And I think they made it tough. I think they made it easier to pass. Like when you've got Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and a team is going to give you, and by the way, we talked about this on Wednesday. I've seen it all week. The Tampa 2 is a super easy defense to pass against if you know that it's coming and if you are a smart quarterback with accuracy. You can pick apart that so easy. And we saw that in the first two plays of the game. I mean, Jimmy Horn is wide open up the middle because, again, you split the safeties. He's going to be wide open all game long. So everybody's saying like, oh, we didn't run the ball again. It wasn't like the offense was bad. Like we took what was given to us, and you have the best quarterback in the country. Why are you just going to run the ball when you don't need to, when they're going to stack the box?
And I will say, if you want to look at the run pass ratio, this was a little surprising. Again, North Dakota State, man, they played so well. They kept our possessions limited, which was crucial in them being in this game. But we ran 40% of our offensive plays, which is kind of surprising to take a look at. Now, only for 2.6 yards a carry. I think, again, that should I think there are things that we can do to see that improve. Part of me wonders if we're saving some of those different, because it's like, we're not good. I refuse to believe, but maybe I'm just delusional. Say, Dave, you're delusional. I refuse to believe that we're just going to run this entire year 95% in 10 personnel. You got to think some twin tight end sets are going to be brought in, a little bit more pistol action, some true goal line sets. Like, I don't think that this is crazy what I'm asking for, but I would just like to see us mix it up a little bit, because running out of shotgun is not always the best way to get a run game going. And I would like to see some different looks here in 9 days going up against Nebraska. But it was nice to see. I wasn't even expecting a 40-60 run pass ratio, but that's what we got. So I know that, again, the results in the running game aren't what we wanted to see. But I think there are some positive signs to take away from the fact that this wasn't an 80-20 split like we saw throughout the year last year.
Yeah. I'm just reading.
Let me get you the super chat really quick. I've had SP up here for a while, FPSP. Thank you so much for the $5. Really do appreciate it. He said the defensive coordinator is going to need to talk man-to-man in an NFL is an NFL thing, mixing the zone. I think that's totally fair on some of these plays, like on I'm trying to think, maybe it was the first or second touchdown that they had. It was a 3rd and goal off of, think they had like a jet sweep pre-snap, something like that. And yeah, like they were able to, with man, they were able to kind of get the separation in that play call that they wanted. I think that's totally fair to see us mixing in some more things. I hope, and my expectation, even going weeks back, is that I expected CU to kind of keep things a little bit more vanilla this week. And maybe that contributes to why the score was a little bit more narrow than what we expected. But I think you're totally right, FPSD. If we're going to go up against some of these Power 4 teams like Nebraska next week, we can't just play man in some of these situations where we were getting burned on. You saw how the shallow crossers were eating us at the beginning of the game. But I do want to give credit. I thought that, I know I highlighted this earlier, I thought both Pat Shermer and Robert Livingston did fine second half adjustments. I thought that we were the much better team in the second half. We were less penalized. It's going to be interesting to see like what the breakdown of the time of possession was in the second half, because I do believe that we won the second half time of possession. But I think Chairman, or I'll get to Chairman A super chat here in just a minute. But FP, I think you're totally right. Would love to see that mixed in, especially some time on those third and goal type of situations, or third and some yardage. On man, you saw the last QB scramble that we had, or that they had for that touchdown. It's because we're playing straight man, and the only guy that was deep not playing man was Shiloh on the opposite side of the field, I believe. So it's tough with that running quarterback, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Russ, any thoughts on that? Sorry for
no. I would agree. My biggest beef with it that I kept screaming at the TV was just like, why aren't we having a spy for the quarterback? Like our pass rushers were getting in there, by the way, guys. Like they were putting pressure that he was having to scramble out. The problem was when you're playing man and they're all running away, it leaves wide open lanes for the quarterback just to have free reign to run. So the running stats are not right because the quarterbacks did so well. And, you know, we have some time to fix that. That is not going to be Nebraska next week. They are not going to run the ball with Dylan Raiola. He is a passing quarterback, which I'm a little surprised, a little interested to see, because I can't remember the last time Nebraska had a pass first quarterback at the helm in a very, probably since Eric Crouch, maybe. No, Eric Crouch was more run. Forget that.
I mean, we faced Jeff Sims last year.
Well, and he was a running quarterback.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, sorry.
That's what I mean is like, you know, this is the first time they've had a pure pocket quarterback with a guy that's not expected to be, you know, fast and running like we had today. I do eventually, when you get to the next super chat, I like what they had to say, but go ahead with this.
Yeah. No doubt. And I did want to say too, we got a heck of a lot of running quarterbacks that we're going to have to deal with in the Big 12. And we got to take some learnings and make some quality adjustments like you just talked about, Russ, because this isn't the last time we're going to face a team like this. We're going to face bigger and faster versions of teams like this in the Big 12. But again, it's not how you start. It is how you finish, which leads me into this super chat from Chairman A. Thank you so much. Appreciate the $5. Do you still stand with your prediction, David Talks Buffs? I think Omarion, Welsh, Wester, and Will got disrespected today, and we have a lot of work to do. I'll get to the first question. My 8-4 prediction, that thing is locked in, baby, once the season starts. So we're going to see. Again, a prediction is done before the season. So that's my prediction on the year, and I'm going to be rocking that until something changes. But we're 12-0 till we ain't, baby. We're undefeated till we ain't, baby. Yes, that's right. We got to cherish, especially the first 24 hours. Cherish this victory, guys. What is the point of this? If, whatever's going wrong, if it's just going to upset you and piss you off, man, sports need to be fun first and foremost. Let's enjoy this victory. We got a lot of things to dissect over the next 9 days. Again, I was close to busting out the Newports. You never like that. But In terms of Omarion, Welsh, Wester, and I wonder if you're talking about Jalen Wester. I don't really think we saw him on the field at the linebacker position. I don't know about disrespect, man. We have a lot of skill at these skill positions, man. And while I do think Michael Welsh will get some looks as the season goes on, again, I was surprised to see Draylon involved with how he was a little bit. But yeah, I guess to sum that up, I mean, I'm not going to go too crazy being upset about certain guys not getting looks when we score 31 points. I think they will have their time. I just don't know about disrespect. I don't know if I can go that far, Chairman A. Again, we scored enough points to win. 31 points is plenty. That's more than what we averaged last year. So let's see this as just the first step, the first building block into hopefully getting this offense running. But we did what we should have done and gone to our biggest playmakers. It's hard not to go to Travis Hunter. It's hard not to go to Jimmy Horn. You can't really argue with the results.
What else do you want out of that? Like, yeah, they balled. Like, if we don't have the stats from Travis, yeah, sure, say we disrespected those guys. But you guys got to remember last year, like, there was always somebody different in each game that came and performed. There was like Travis was really the only consistent guy all season. Weaver was pretty consistent, but not as far as, like he had his yards, but that was it. But there was always one guy that stepped up that much bigger. It very well could be next week. It very well could be Michael Welsh. They're going to get their time. They know what's going on. I'm not worried about that. It's again, I think we're just getting a little bit carried away with what happened tonight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there was Russ, I got to change topics on you here really quick, and then we'll get to PABW's chat, which was great here. Dude, I loved the uniforms. What were your thoughts on the uniforms?
Oh, yeah. As soon as I saw that fire. Okay, but here's what I'm disappointed in, Dave. Those uniforms were amazing. Okay, everybody in the chat, let's take some time. Let's chat uniforms. Let's forget what happened in the game. We got to win. Let's chat uniforms for a second, because those things were fire. But what I am most disappointed in, could you imagine the hype video they could have made, like all the other teams, to reveal those before the game? Like, come on. We have one of the best media teams in the country. Could you imagine, some shots of the flat irons, and then it just like dissolves?
Hire Gucci just to do it.
He's at the game. I'm sure he's like itching to do something with those. But like, seriously, could we not have done something with those? Like every other team, they're doing photo shoots and video shoots. And we're Colorado, for heaven's sake. Like, this is what we live on. And you're going to tell me that we get to reveal these really awesome jerseys at kickoff, pretty much? Like, that's disappointing. But again, Dave, they are fire. What I love the most is we kind of knew they were coming. Let's be honest. We saw the leak over the summer. It did confirm that leak was right from Fanatics.
Dude, but AB knows, man. Antonio Brown, he's got all the connections on the uniform leaks. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No. Well, and all I was going to say is, and finish with, is the best part was the pants. I love the mountains running down the pants too. Like, that was so clean. Like, I'm excited to see a white version of that with like the gold mountains with gold pants. And okay, here's where we can really crack it out of the park. Okay. You will make me scream. I don't even want to talk about it because it's probably not appropriate for YouTube. Do a white version of that with a gold chrome helmet.
Ooh, I'm about it.
Gold up the sides, mountains, and then the gold chrome. I want the gold chrome helmet. I swear to God, if they do not get a gold chrome helmet this year after what I saw at Jackson State, I am going to be livid, because that was the dumbest move we could have made all season.
The flat irons looked incredible, and it was about time we integrated the flat irons view into the uniforms. I thought they looked spectacular. I would love to see this combination yet again with maybe a different helmet, like you insinuated, Russ. But let's get to this super chat here from
this is a good one.
PWS. Thank you again so much for the $10. Robert Livingston learned under Lou and Arumo. Yet C ran a no
Amoeba.
amoeba defense. Sorry, not a scientist. Could they be hiding defensive film for Nebraska? So they just ran base defense. Russ, I'll let you take this one.
When he said this, I immediately went, because they ran the most vanilla defense I've ever seen. Like, it was just straight man, one person over the top, safety help. Sometimes they brought a blitz, but it was mostly like 4 guys going at the quarterback, letting them just go. And it was very vanilla. So in all honesty, I have to wonder if maybe Colorado was like, you know what? Let's not throw out all the stops in this game. We're not going to need to throw out all the stops. A win is a win. Let's go get that win. Let's see what we have skill-wise, because we're going to match people up 1v1, one-on-one on the line, one-on-one in from the corners. There was no safety, or there was really no corner blitzes. I did see a couple linebacker blitzes that kind of blew up in our face because, again, we broke contain and the quarterback got out and got big runs out of it. But I do kind of wonder if we played it vanilla. What say you hearing that comment and how you might be thinking about what's going on?
I think great minds think alike. That's what I was expecting going into this game on both the offense and defense. I was just expecting that maybe we might see one other personnel package put in there, maybe a nice little 12 personnel or something like that, or 22. You know, it would have been nice to go jumbo in some different fashions, but in situations here. But that is what I was expecting coming into this. And so again, it's hard for me to make sense of Russ if we're going to come out and play like this next week in terms of the defense is being called and the offensive packages used or / not used, because I feel like it was just very base today.
It just didn't feel like
thought, though. PABWS.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird to see them come out and immediately get Draylon involved, because I kind of felt like it was kind of a cute start, you know, like catch him offhand. But again, I don't know. Maybe that was just for this game.
So
I'm riding high off this win.
The press conferences are happening now, and
they are.
Shador just said that throw at the end of the game, that was him. He checked out of a run.
Dude, why?
He checked out of a run.
Why are you doing that? All you need to do is run the ball.
You're not doing the math there. Somebody should have said in his head, like, hey, based on how much time is left, if we run it, the game's over. Like, somebody should have been saying that. I don't know if somebody didn't. I don't know if Pat Shurmur didn't. I don't know if somebody could get it to him. I don't know if they were, what they were doing. But if that is true and he's taking the blame for that one, yikes indeed. That is not a good thing from your quarterback to be admitting.
No. And I guess we can get to it, man. Let's talk about this briefly. Let's talk about special teams. Jace Feely, I believe most of his kickoffs were touchbacks. I will take that. No kicks out of bounds. No big returns let up on special teams. I thought, again, we were great on the kickoff or on the place kicking. Special teams contributed to the victory, I thought. But the game situations, that is just something where, again, we continue to play with fire. Nothing is made easy with this team, which is great from an entertainment standpoint. Like, did you not enjoy this game? I loved it. I was entertained the whole way. But this game should have been over with 2 minutes and 18 seconds left, or whatever it was when we got the ball.
Yeah, 100%. Win's a win. We need to, like, everybody in the chat who's saying win's a win, enough's enough. Like, you're right. If you truly watch that game, like I said, we're probably what, Dave, 3-4 plays in that game away from a blowout.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that. You take away Shiloh's stupid penalty that would have been a 3-and-out in the first half. That is 7 less points that they get because it's going away. Okay, that's one. The random calf kick interception that took points off the board.
It's
okay,
true.
that took points off the board. The offside by Deion Hayes that put points on the board. So that is 3 plays right there. That's 21-point swing.
Yeah.
At minimum, it's a 9-point swing. If we add 9 points to our score right now and say that, okay, NDSU doesn't score any again because, hey, they're playing a different style because now they're down by a lot more. Like, this game's a blowout. We're not talking about this. People need to realize that was a 3-play game. 3 plays were bad for Colorado that ruined it. They can fix all 3 of those things, and we'll come back next week and be just fine. Like, everybody's saying, if we play like this, we're going to lose to Nebraska. Well, yeah, if we make stupid penalties, we're going to lose to anybody. Like, we literally almost lost this game just on that. Like, in all honesty, NDSU played great, but they did not play to win that game in the sense that we played to lose it at points with the bad plays.
They played complementary football, and it put themselves – they put themselves in position to have a game-winning drive at the end of the game, regardless of how many seconds there were. Again, one of my things that I've talked about a lot is that I want to see this team play within itself. And while I do feel like the individual players, again, I thought we played good team football. We played discipline. We won the penalty battle, which is something I don't even think we won once last year. So that was great. Again, I thought we had an 8-minute drive in the second half, which was great. But this is where I'm hoping, and I'm calling on Coach Prime to really lean on his coordinators a little bit, because Pat Shurmur's not going for it on a 4th and short in their own territory in a 3-point game in the first half. I refuse to believe, I've seen it too many times now with multiple coordinators of still wanting to pass the ball in these game, running the clock situations at the end of the game where, sometimes you just have to play within yourself. You got to have your offensive line go earn that money that they're getting paid. And sometimes it's like not putting unnecessary pressure on Shedeur, not putting unnecessary pressure on this defense or offense in certain ways. If we're going to go into Lincoln next week and win, we're not making those kinds of calls. If we're in a 4th and short in our own territory, down by 3 in the first half, we need to punt that ball in Lincoln.
Oh yeah, that was 100% because of who NDSU was and who they were being. Like, if by the way, if we punt the ball there, we're not getting the ball back and getting 3 points before the half. It's not happening. Yeah. They're gonna have more time to drive. They were driving every single time. Our defense had just been out on the field. Like, it was just not a great scenario to let them kill the clock. So I actually get why Prime did it in this situation, and I was fine with it. I wanted him to be aggressive there and hopefully get it. We needed to stop NDSU's time of possession that they were just killing us on, and we couldn't go 4 and out and not try. So that's fine. In Nebraska, that's not going to be the case. Okay. We're not really facing another NDSU on the schedule, maybe until Kansas State. So let's play a little more conservatively with that and let our defense, eat going forward.
Yeah. I just want to see us. Yeah. Give these guys a chance to show out as well. And, but all things considered, thrilling first game. Oof. Let's talk about some of the defensive player standouts.
Yes.
Why don't you go first, Russ? I think there were a handful of guys that really stood out.
Yeah, let's go with the big one. And by big one, I mean the big one. Chidozie Nwankwo, block bully. Like, your defensive tackle gets, you get 2 sacks? 1 sack.
I wish ESPN had this.
It was either 2 sacks or it was 1 sack and 1 tackle for a loss, because he got 2 plays where he got the guys in the backfield. I can't remember if it was a sack or not, the second one. I think it was a tackle for a loss. I really do. But anyway, needless to say, and he was stuffing up that middle on all those runs throughout the game. He was taking up double team blocks. ESPN was highlighting the middle of that line. The middle of our line when it came to the run stop was exactly what we wanted, Dave. We talked about the Utah game last year, 50 attempts at 5 yards a pop. That is embarrassing. Today, you take out the quarterback runs, and we're looking at what, 2.5 yards a play, I think is what we're at. Like, guys, you guys need to realize the D-line much improved when it comes to the run stop. We are not going to get beat by teams just running the ball. We're going to get beat by running quarterbacks, absolutely, if we don't make some changes. But what do we got? 1 tackle for loss?
We got, a TFL,
1
a
sack,
sack.
1 TFL.
Yeah, and 2 solo tackles.
Oh, yes, we got the tackles here. Oh, see, I knew Bentley was up there. I had a feeling that Trevor was up there because I felt like he was all over the field making tackles. Now, was he making the best play that he could have? Like, I think some of the plays where he did end up making a tackle, he kind of misread the play initially, which would have had an even bigger impact. So I still think he's having some time that he's going to need to figure out that linebacker position.
Yeah, still not the best game from him. I think that, again, sometimes when you're asking him to play man on some of these guys, that's just not. You saw him get burned a couple times guarding that running back, but Levante Bentley, man, he was. I was really happy for him, man, to not only be one of the more, in my opinion, criticized players last year, somebody that I was pretty hard on, but like earn this starting spot despite all of these transfers coming in here. And I thought he played really well. He was stout in the run defense, provided a sack, tackle for loss. I thought that he should be very proud of the game that he played today.
Yeah, I mean, Chidozie, Bentley, some of the other guys. I mean, BJ Green did have his one big play,
yes,
where he got the guy way in the backfield. That was great to see him get that play done. You know, they were rotating heavily. I mean, I saw a ton of different things. Dan Hayes, 3 tackles.
Dude, Dan Hayes was great today.
And 1 tackle for a loss. Like, I just wish they were getting to the quarterback more. But honestly, like I said, I'm not going to complain and say, yeah, it was reffing or something. But you watch those edges every play. There was a pass play. Like, when the quarterback rolled out and they had a chance to sack, they were just like gripping our guys and like pretty much bare tackling them. And it made it very hard for them. So I do really want to see what they look like against a more traditional offense. And next week's going to be a great test of that. Is this defensive line for real? Are they who they looked like tonight going into next week? I think we'll find out. But I like our chances with what they can do compared to what we did last year.
Yeah. And again, credit. Coach Barry in here, on-time supporter. Just want to shout him out. He said, Levante Bentley played a great game. Our cornerback and safety is going to have to step it up, man. Absolutely. And with this being still the secondary, I think we've all considered still the strength of this team. Next week, they're going to have to show it, man. And I think they will be put in position. Again, we better be scheming up some interesting things for a first-time freshman starter, man. True freshman starter.
Yeah. Well, we need to change. Like I said, I hope it was a vanilla offense and we just went straight man and we're like, beat us in straight man, which I kind of get. I thought that might be what they do. You know, stop the run, have the quarterback beat us. And guess what? Cam Miller had the game of his life and almost beat us by himself. Okay. Tip our caps, say that Cam Miller's probably going to be the best quarterback in the FCS this year. I mean, he's a 6th-year quarterback. He knows what he's doing. He's won championships. Like, guys, we need to tip our caps to what he was able to do. I'm not worried about the secondary because, honestly, it is hard to play man when you have a quarterback that can scramble. Like, it just is, because now what you're dealing with is you're dealing with the fact that you're going to have to cover for a very long time, or they're getting rid of the ball so quick that they couldn't have any chance of doing it, you know? So I'm not worried about our secondary. I'm more worried about our play calling and just hoping, like I said, that it's vanilla for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, a lot to look forward to. Russ, I know it's a bit late. I'm probably going to shut this thing down here pretty soon. But again, guys, it's the first game. Loved seeing Colorado get this victory. Love seeing Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, Jimmy Horn. These guys absolutely ball out. Guys, again, yes, we have 9 days to talk about all the stuff that makes you want to pick up a pack of cigarettes. But rule number one, man, you cherish the victory no matter who it's against, no matter how it's done. And we're one win closer to a bowl game, baby. And I think that's what's most important right now.
Yeah, 100%. I think kind of end this out on my end. Like, the sky isn't falling, guys. I have a feeling that over the next week, if we really dive into that game and look at some of the plays, we're going to find a lot of good. I think we're going to find a lot more good than bad. I think the score doesn't necessarily reflect what actually happened. I think we're a couple plays away from being a much better team, and I'm glad that it happened this game. Let's not forget, there are no scrimmages against other teams in college football. There is no preseason. This is the first time that we went live ball all the way across the board because, again, we don't do a ton of tackling in practice. And I would like to say, I heard a lot of people say that because Prime doesn't tackle in practice, we were going to have an issue. I did not feel like we had a tackling problem. Would you say that, Dave?
I thought we looked better tackling than we did.
I can't remember any big missed tackles. Like, I can't remember any big missed tackles. I mean, they were wide open. Like the plays they scored touchdowns on, they were just wide open. It wasn't because we didn't tackle.
Yeah, but Preston Hodge had a good couple
that
good
open field with
tackles
Preston
in
at
open
the end.
field. I think DJ McKinney had some good ones. But yeah, I think overall we did more so in the second half. I think we did a great job in the second half making adjustments, and it's why the second half adjustments that our coordinators made, it's why it gives me confidence still going 100%. Into the season, y'all. Like, again, the easiest thing to change is the game management. It has to change. It has to change. But if we're talking about the performance of our coordinators, I'm not worried about them. It's just game management.
Can we say though, outside of that, like Pat Shurmur, like he called a great game. He gave Shador a lot of stuff. Like Shador had a lot of options, really good. I would say Pat Shurmur definitely should get some big attention for that game and how he played. Like I get that Travis was it's pretty easy when you have Travis Hunter out there, but I mean, they put the ball in Travis's hands at the right time and let their playmaker do the work. And, you know, he could always shoot himself in the foot and just not do that as a coach and, you know, ruin it. I mean, I'm sure Giants fans and Broncos fans probably thought that of Pat Shurmur, but he did what he needed to do. I'm happy with it. I'm going to be fine with it. We've got a week. Hey, guess what, guys? We're not Florida State. We're not. Hey, by the way, NC State, who is ranked, barely beat a way worse FCS team than we just beat.
Yes.
Way worse. Okay. Imagine being an NC State fan right now, guys. Okay. We don't have anything to write home about. North Dakota State is going to be one of the final 4 teams in FCS. That is nothing that bad to write home about, especially in the first game of the season.
Yeah. We could have been New Mexico, as Landon Lee is pointing out. And I forgot Cameron Silman Craig was knocked out, so that's why we didn't see a lot of Savion Riley and Herman Smith. I think was in there a little bit as well. So, but Buffs fans, I want to thank you guys for sticking with us. There's a lot of different shows that you could tune into after the game. It means a lot that you would spend it with us. I think we had over 700 people in the chat for most of this. I think Cam's was a concussion or something, head injury. He was a little wobbly coming up after a hit that he made. So hopefully he's going to be okay to go against Nebraska. We'll have to see, but it means a lot. Please smash that like and subscribe on the way out if you haven't yet. And please go follow Russ at Buffs News Weekly. We do a show every Wednesday now, the Buff Blitz. So, hey, shout out to Rawhide. I'll give Rawhide a shout out here real quick. I guess we had some miscommunication. I think he said in jest that he's like, dude, I'm in a bad mood. You don't want to have me on tonight. I'm sorry. I must have interpreted that wrong. I thought he didn't want to do a show anymore. So, Russ, I appreciate you filling in. Rawhide, I'm sorry. We'll get to that. We'll get together here soon. But I really appreciate you coming in short notice, Russ.
Yeah, not a problem. It was exciting, happy, and hey, It's week 1. We're 1-0, baby.
Yeah, it's 1-0, baby. All right, guys, you enjoy this victory. Watch the highlights on replay. I will be back tomorrow. Russ will be back on when?
Saturday for our news video. We got a lot of news to cover this week besides the game.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Thank you so much. As always, y'all, Sko Buffs.
Sko Buffs.